Hey, what's up, guys? It's Greg, and today I want to tell you about the number one thing, one of the most important things that has created such flow states for me in my life and such abundance in more ways than one, and still is able to, the more I enjoy the process. And one thing I've found out in this life, it's about enjoying the process and not getting stuck on the end result, because the end result will creep up on you. As for the number one thing in my own life that I've stuck by to this day, which I feel will take you all the way, any one of us, comes down to one simple thing. I'm going to show you what it is in the next scene, and then we'll get straight into the video. What's up, guys? So as you can see, the number one thing that's helped me tremendously in this life is releasing. What is release work? It's the same as letting go work. There's many different names for it. Specifically, all it entails and encompasses is letting go of wanting approval, wanting control, wanting to be safe, letting go of resistance, and also letting go of the fear of death and fear in general. Because like the great Dune scene goes in the book and the movie, I don't know if you've seen that, fear is the mind killer. It really and truly is. So as I've traversed and gone along this process, I've discovered more and more that the more I let go, the more I accept the things I can't control outside of myself, the more agency and the more control I have inside myself of the inner world. And that's where true effect and change can happen. You see this reflected in so many teachings, in so many different people out there that talk about this, from Eckhart Tolle to Neville Goddard to Lester Levinson, who was the one that rediscovered this inherent birthright we have in us called releasing, guys. So at the end of the day, when you feel a lack in control sensation, it comes down to you not feeling that you have control within you. It's got nothing to do with the outside world, as pretty or as nightmarish as it can look, depending on where you are in this world, right? It should not matter. Circumstances do not matter. It's the inner terrain that helps to mold the outer terrain, which merely reflects the inner goings and the ongoings of the inner terrain. It's a mirror reflection. I'm not saying to get lost in platitudes. It's not about bypassing. It's not about talking about just positivity all the time and rainbows and puppies. But this work entails facing a lot of repressed stuff that you have inside you, but it's allowing it to surface. You're not suppressing it. You see, the world usually has three ways of dealing with these feelings, and they're either to suppress them, which is one of the worst things we can do, because when you hold something down, for example, if you've seen those like water things in the water, yeah, those like inflatable balloons, they call them water boys, right? And with a water boy, because it has so much oxygen in it, it's always going to float to the top. It has buoyancy. But when you push down in that buoyancy, what happens is eventually it's going to want to come up. Your arms are going to get tired trying to hold down an inflatable ball full of oxygen. Eventually it's going to want to come shooting up no matter how hard you try. That's why people explode. That's why people go postal. That's why people commit mass shootings. That's why there's domestic violence, all this stuff, because people are suppressing their rage, suppressing their anger, suppressing their fear, all this stuff, and that's what causes it to pop. Another way, that unhealthy way we deal with our feelings is expression. So you yell at someone, you cry, you act out, you hide, you express the feelings. It acts as a ventilation, rather, not hyperventilation, my bad. It's a temporary, brief ventilation of the feelings, but they're not really addressing it at the root cause. What's happening is you're merely skiing over the surface. You're not really going deep down. So when you ventilate briefly, you may feel good in the moment, temporarily, but that's not the end game. That is not something that'll be long lasting, and it's not something that'll stick with you for life, and it'll rear its ugly head again eventually. So that's expression. The last way most of the world, 99.999% of the world, deals with their emotions is through distraction. We take a drink, we do drugs, we go to the cinema and watch movies all the time, we socialize. There's nothing inherently wrong with some of those healthier distractions, but it comes from the intention and where you're coming from as you partake in these events. Are you merely taking the drink or doing the drugs, or those are the unhealthy ones, to escape your feelings? Predominantly, yes, that's actually what's going down. Take a check and you'll see it for yourself. Like when you go socializing, are you really wanting to try and connect with someone and give positive energy into them, or are you merely trying to get your mind away from the stresses that you have that day? It all depends on where you're coming from. Now, I'm not demonizing you or me or anyone that partakes in these three things. We were never taught this stuff in school. That's the thing. We were never taught how to deal with these emotions, how to deal with these things as they come up, the lacking sensations, the wanting feelings. So here we come to the fourth way of dealing with the feelings. And as you could see from the scene just before we segued into this section of the video, it is to do with letting go. It's to do with releasing and allowing the subconscious stuff to come to the surface. Not to judge it, not to overanalyze it, not to figure it out, but to let it go. And once you let it go, that's when you start to feel lighter and lighter within your body, within your frame. These energies are densely compacted. That's why we have things called trapped emotions. You can look up Dr. Bradley Nelson's work, where he talks about trapped emotions literally being balls of energy that are vibrating at certain emotional frequencies that can literally become stuck, lodged inside the body, and that causes you to carry this baggage around. Most of these trapped emotions, wow, see, it's coming to the surface, guys. There's stuff being stirred up. Great analogy there. But anyway, thank you, Mother Nature. So this stuff gets stirred up, and instead of suppressing it, trying to distract yourself, or temporarily ventilating it, we have a healthiest option out of all of them, and that's letting it go. That's releasing it. So you bring up the wanting approval, wanting control, wanting to be safe, and you let them go. You ask yourself, could I let go of wanting either approval, control, or safety? And in that moment, you got to mean it, because your mind will know if you are not serious about your intention. Your intention has to be solid, so that when you make the decision consciously to let go of a lacking, wanting sensation in you, it is a done deal, because you are allowing it to come up and pass through. You can feel this energy. And how do you know you're releasing? You know you're releasing when you feel lighter, when you feel less dense, your mind feels more clearer, quiet. We're looking for a quiet, calm, lighter state. And guess what? You can release 24/7. You can release while you're walking. You can release while you're talking. You can release while you're on the toilet. You can release while you're doing the dishes, on your commute, wherever you are. As long as you have a mind and intention, you can use the mind to undo itself. How tripped out is that? So that's like the ultimate tool to undo the automatic loop mechanism that is the mind, that keeps us going in loops around wanting, lacking. All that scarcity-based consciousness can be chipped away at. One trapped emotion, one release at a time, and then eventually you'll find out what you always were, and that was joy in this moment. That was ease. That was peace. That was flow state. It's not to bypass. People get it twisted, yo. They talk about, but that's bypassing. Actually, it's not. It's not bypassing, because you're not stuffing. What's bypassing is when you stuff it down. Is when you hide it, when you cover it up. We just covered that. No, it's not bypassing, because you're allowing it to come up so you can see it. So come up and you say, hi there, I see you now. Thank you for letting yourself known. I'm consciously aware of you, because it's emanated up from the subconscious through through self-inquiry, and that's when you have it in your laser sights and you can let it go, scatter it to the wind, and just keep letting go. We're going to go deeper into this stuff. We're going to fine-tune how we approach it. I'm going to bring you guys much more content. This is one of my passions. It's changed my life. Without releasing, I would have been in a horrible state. I'll tell you my personal story and go into it deeper one day. But without releasing, I truly feel that it saved my life. It has saved my life. It has saved me from allowing myself to be dominated by ego tendencies. It's allowed me to stave off the path of getting prideful and stuck in my own head and lashing out at people, because there's a lot of unconsciousness running the world, and that's not wrong or right. It just is what it is. It is reality right now. We accept it for what it is, and we learn to forgive, because all the unconsciousness and the darkness we see in others, guess what? We wouldn't be able to see it if it didn't first exist within us. Really digest what I just said that now. When I first heard that, I had to digest it, because it's deeper than the surface appearance of just hearing it like that out off the bat. Really digest that, guys, and you'll see it's like the Bible, the biblical verse: before you judge your brother for having a splinter in his eye, first look at yourself and take the log out of your own eye, you hypocrite. I know it's nasty when you put the mirror back on yourself. I mean, it's unpleasant, right? When you put the mirror back on yourself, because you realize you are the world, you are society, you are the very things you don't like to see in other people. You harbor those things too, and that's where forgiveness comes in. That's where gratitude for God, for life, for the higher power comes in. That's moving through you when you allow it to. For Source, there's so many names, people use it from all walks of life, and that's when you can learn to tap into that. And you know what helps you to tap into that much more and very efficiently and powerfully than anything else I've ever come across, to be honest? That's release work. That's the inner work. That's the letting go work. If you're looking for specific modalities, I'd highly recommend, and by the way, let me preface this. These are much more than just modalities or techniques. These are inherent states of being that we've carried since childhood, that have naturally been our inherent birthright and skill set. Children know how to release in a very, very quick and efficient manner without needing to be taught this, because it's already within them. So basically these things are basically teaching us how to retune, reestablish, and resurface these things, this release work that was part of our natural operating system. Adam and Eve were natural releasers. What caused them to fall from paradise, from grace? When they started to think and go into fear, or wanting approval from God, wanting control, wanting safety. And that's when they fell. The great schism, the great fall happened when we got mired in the mind. Some of this may be a bit too much. Take what resonates, discard the rest. More than anything else, I hope it served, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take it easy. Ciao. Arrivederci. And remember, keep letting go, and you will be pleasantly surprised at how your consciousness will shift, how you'll have a mass identity change, and the rest of your life will be absolutely transformed and metamorphized from the cocoon of the pupa into the majestic, expansive butterfly. Catch you later, guys. Cheers.